Good morning, I'm Gretchen Ho. It is a Wednesday, the 23rd day of April, bringing you Morning Matters because your mornings matter. Let's get to the stories that matter today. A second general congregation of the College of Cardinals will be held today, followed by daily masses in St. Peter's Square. Meantime, Cardinal Kevin Farrell confirmed that Pope Francis' funeral will take place on Saturday, April 26. As the midterm elections approach, Vice President Sara Duterte disclosed that her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, requested her assistance in campaigning for the PDP senatorial slate. And in sports, Filipina tennis star Alex Ayala triumphed over Victoria Tomova in the Madrid Open's opening round. She now faces world number 2 Iga Swiatek in a highly anticipated rematch. Welcome to our program, Morning Matters, where we talk about the issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first on the agenda, the First General Congregation of the College of Cardinals took place on Tuesday morning in the Vatican. This marks the start of a period of prayer and preparation after Pope Francis' death. Now, according to the Vatican, a moment of silent prayer opened the congregation with 60 cardinals in attendance. A second congregation will be held today, followed by daily masses in St. Peter's Square. Meantime, Cardinal Kevin Farrell confirmed that the Pontiff's funeral will take place on Saturday, April 26 at 10 a.m. Vatican time. Pope Francis will be entombed at the Basilica of St. Mary Major in accordance with his wishes. Let's now check in at the Vatican, where Jovi Francisco joins us live with the latest on the passing of Pope Francis. Jovi, I know you just arrived and I know it is about 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. There. But going from the airport to the hotel, what have you observed? What has the atmosphere been like?
Good morning, Gretchen. Yes, from the airport, ako'y dumaan doon sa St. Peter's Basilica. Ano na siya, no? Well, kanina, nung nagmo-monitor ako with our co-reporters na nandito na, meron talaga mga tao na nagpupunta doon para tumingin. Although alam natin na mamaya pa siguro, it's 2 a.m. here, no? Mga bandang 8 a.m. ililipat from Casa Santa Marta si Pope Francis papunta doon sa Basilica. Doon na nga gaganapin yung mga misa. I think parang may sort of order na inilalagay doon by way of the yung kung saan pwede pumwesto yung mga tao. Hindi pa masyadong clear sa akin kung yun na talaga yung magiging ayos early mamaya ng umaga. We'll be checking on that later, Gretchen. Pero doon nalilipat yung activity from yung pinupuntahan ng mga tao kanina na Casa Santa Marta, doon na ngayon sa Basilica, sa St. Peter's Square na ang karamihan ng activity starting tomorrow.
Okay, so yung katawan ni Pope Francis will be outside St. Peter's Basilica, tama ba? At nandoon sa labas sa St. Peter's Square, sa harapan ng simbahan.
Alam mo, parang I'm sure mas alam nung dalawang other guests na nakikita ko ngayon dito sa ating Zoom, Pero ang alam ko parang hindi naman. I think ilalabas yata sa sa funeral this Saturday. Dahil yung mga na meron ding naka-line up na events na we'll update you on that later, Gretch. Pero ang alam natin ay kung base sa mga nakalipas na naaalala natin, meron mukhang doon lang yung mga formation sa labas at wala at hindi naman yata doon kapag malapit na or pag doon na sa Sabado.
Kasi yung St. Peter's Basilica, yung usual ata parang medyo ini-elevate yung katawan ng Pope tapos sa loob ng simbahan. Pero doon sa labas yung St. Peter's Square, yung doon nagdumadalo yung mga tao. Kanina nung nagpunta ka ba ay maraming kumbaga nakaupo, nakastay doon, nag-aantay para mauna sila sa pila.
Marami lang ako nakitang naglalakad-lakad, no? I think baka yung iba pabalik sa kung saan sila nagsistay. Dahil nalaman ko rin, Gretchen, yung mga kasama natin sa media, they were also there hanggang late ngayong gabi, kanina, tapos ay naglakad na sila pabalik doon sa mga lugar kung saan sila nakastay na hotel. Na malapit lang din naman, yung mga pinili natin malapit doon sa St. Peter's Square.
Mm. Doon sa labas kasi ng St. Petersburg, kung papansin mo, may dalawang fountain. At yung
Yes.
dito sa may bandang right side, facing the church, dyan yung pila papasok no, ng St. Peter's Basilica. Dito sa kaliwa, parang medyo mas lax yung security kasi pa-exit na yon. Oo. Kaya kung ikaw ay papasok, huwag kang magkakamali na dumaan dito sa kaliwa, dito ka sa may kanan. Kasi medyo mahirap, no? Pero nung nasa airport ka ba, ay marami ka nang naging kasabay na papunta sa Italy, sa Rome?
Ang masabi kasi may pila, 'di ba? Pagkadating mo pipila ka doon sa ano no, to present yung ano sa customs ano. Ah narinig ko iba talaga doon pag tinatanong ko ano reason nila. Ang reason nila is because of what happened kay Pope Francis. So meron ako mga nakasabay kanina na yun din ang pakay dito sa Roma.
And slowly, devotees are starting to pour in, as you noticed. But what should we?
Nakakuha ng hotel. I'm sure alam ng mga ibang guests natin today, ano, pero ang hirap ng humanap ng hotel. Tulad nito kinuha natin, ako yung proximity na inisip ko ito, hindi na yung usual na hinahanap natin ng iba, may mga katulad yan. Alam ko gumawa pa ng paraan yung staff natin para magkaroon ako ng internet tonight, ano. Pero kasi ang importante nandun tayo sa malapit na malapit because alam natin na medyo mahaharangan yung ibang mga daan sa mga susunod na araw at kailangan walking distance ka lang kapag ano no pagka kailangan mo mag-cover doon.
And of course, as you make that journey of faith, we will travel with you. Ano ba nga asahan natin today sa paglipat sa kanyang katawan mula sa Casa Santa Marta sa St. Peter's? What should we wait for later on?
It's 8 a.m. yung sinabing schedule ano yun ang medyo alam ng ating mga kababayan ko din na anunsyo no so kami doon sa mga magko-cover will be there siguro ng mas maaga pa Gretchen ano dahil of course will be ano no keeping an eye on Filipino devotees so kaya yung mga kababayan natin na nandito nga ano para ma-interview at the same time makita yung mga kaparian na alam natin na nandito naman na talaga no para makausap natin dahil medyo alam natin na na-expect natin na mahaba yung pila na yan Gretchen.
At sana nga ay we wish you good luck no kasi siguradong maraming tao bukas.
Maraming tao. Alam mo ba na ano kami? Of course, nag-register kami doon sa media na magko-cover, no? Nakita ko kung gaano karami yon at hindi pa na-approve yung iba. Kasama na tayo at ilang mga Filipino journalists kasi ang haba ng pila doon sa accreditation, ano? So, we're just hoping na ma-release siya just in time for the activity starting tomorrow. Or this
Ang
morning.
importante ay nandiyan ka na, Jovi.
Yes.
So we can live through you and your experience there. Pero ngayon, patutulungin ka muna namin pagpapahingahin. It is a busy day waiting for you today. Maraming salamat, Jovi Francisco, reporting to us live from the Vatican. Catholic churches in the country held a mass in memory of Pope Francis. Here's the latest from the Philippine churches.
Devotees, priests, and laity attended the Mass held at the Manila Cathedral for the death of Pope Francis on Tuesday. It was led by Manila Archbishop Jose Cardinal Advincula. Papal Nuncio to the Philippines Archbishop Charles Brown also participated in the Mass.
In the last 2 months, I've been asking you to pray for him, and you responded with great generosity and great love for your Lolo Kiko.
The message of Cardinal Advincula centered on expressing gratitude for the late pontiff.
Under the rain in Tacloban, standing with the survivors of Typhoon Yolanda, Pope Francis showed us what it means to suffer with others and find hope in the midst of pain.
Cardinal Advincula prayed that Filipinos will live the good memories and lessons left by Pope Francis.
Let us honor his memory by learning from his teachings and following his example of Christian life.
In Caloocan, a large crowd of Catholics gathered at Caloocan Cathedral for a Mass in memory of Pope Francis. The Mass was led by Cardinal Pablo Virgilio David. In his homily, he reminded the faithful of the Pope's message about the importance of tears.
It's okay to cry tears, and just make sure they're not tears of desperation or hopelessness, no? Kasi laging hopeful ang dating ni Pope Francis. At nabanggit ko nga, para kay Papa Francisco, mas makakakita tayo ng mas maliwanag kung hahayaan nating mahugasan ng ating mga mata ng maraming mga luha.
Cardinal David is one of the members of the conclave in the Vatican, the sacred process of electing the new Pope. He may fly to Vatican this Friday.
I wish makahabol ako sa funeral, no? Pero ang main obligation ko is to be there to join the conclave. Kasi syempre, yun yung prinsipyo ng succession in the church. And it is in the spirit of prayer na ang kailangang itanong namin, hindi ang gusto naming iboto, kundi ang gusto ng Panginoon na mag-succeed kay Pope Francis. Kaya malaki ang aming moral and spiritual obligation to enter into the conclave, not in the spirit of politics, but in the spirit of prayer.
Don't go away. When we return, we'll be speaking with a student Filipino priest over there in Rome. We'll be back with more stories right after the break. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. As the Catholic Church prepares for its next leader, several names of high-ranking cardinals are already emerging. Now, among them is our very own Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle. Here is the report.
Among the possible contenders to become the next pope is our kababayan, Luis Antonio Cardinal Tagle. Cardinal Tagle is currently the prefect of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples. His significant contributions to missionary work and spreading the gospel in Asia has led him to his high-ranking post in the Vatican. The 67-year-old cardinal is also dubbed the Asian Francis because of his and the late pontiff's shared commitment to social justice. Should he be elected, Tagle could become the first pope from Asia. Also among the strong contenders is Matteo Maria Zuppi. 69-year-old Italian cardinal once served as the Archbishop of Bologna. He is nicknamed Italian Bergoglio because, like Francis, Zuppi lived in Buenos Aires, Argentina. There, he was known as a street priest for his closeness to the poor and migrants. If chosen as the next Vicar of Christ, Zuppi will be the first Italian pope since 1978. Also a front-runner is Cardinal Peter Turkson, 76 years old, from Ghana. Like Pope Francis, he is a champion of social justice. He could also make history as the first pope from sub-Saharan Africa. Like Turkson, another possible first pope of color is Cardinal Robert Sarah from Guinea. He is a conservative known for his strictly upholding traditional Catholic values. Then there's Italian Cardinal Pietro Parolin. He currently serves as the Vatican's Secretary of State. His experience in international relations is one of his strongest assets. Also in the running is French Jean-Marc Aveline. Those close to the cardinal call him John the 24th. Pope Francis previously mentioned that John the 24th could be the name of his successor. The conclave or election of the next pope could happen within 2 weeks. The College of Cardinals is the sole group that will vote, but only cardinals under 80 years old are eligible to do so. Of the 252 cardinals worldwide, only 135 can cast their ballots. Apart from Cardinal Tagle, 2 other Filipinos will also vote: Manila Archbishop Jose Cardinal Advincula and Caloocan Bishop Pablo Virgilio Cardinal David. 2/3 majority vote is required to elect the new pope. But as a popular saying in the Vatican goes, enter a conclave as pope, you leave as a cardinal. This means that the age-old tradition of picking the next pope is such a secretive and sacred process, it draws inspiration from the divine and is not a mere popularity contest.
Baka yung sobrang na parang ibinibida natin si Cardinal Tagle, baka mag-boomerang pa sa atin. Kasi mahirap yung pagpasok mo sa conclave, parang ikaw na yung itunuturing ng Santo Papa. Madalas, yung mga ganyan, paglabas ng conclave, hindi tuloy napili.
Well, to talk about that, we have on our show today Father Earl Valdez and Father Earl Tan. They're both from the Pontificio Colegio Filipino in Rome. Welcome to Morning Matters. Thank you so much for joining us, even if it's 2 a.m. over there in Italy.
Good
Before
morning,
we
Gretchen.
talk about Cardinal Tagle and the Papabiles, I want to put the focus first on the Pope's funeral rites. Father Earl got the chance to go inside the chapel of Casa Santa Marta and see the body of Pope Francis. Father Earl Tan, tell us all about that experience. What was it like and what did you get to do inside?
Yes, na-bless tayo kahapon na magkaroon ng chance to see to go to Casa Santa Marta, and siguro yung feeling ay kakaiba, no? Yung silent atmosphere pagpasok mo ng chapel, you will feel agad the ambience of holiness, no? I felt like we were in a room na where the head of the family is dead. Alam mong malungkot yung mga tao, pero ramdam mo sa mga tao na nasa maayos na kalagayan yung mahal nila, no? Kasi alam mong binigay niya lahat, na punong-puno ng puso niya, ng pagmamahal sa kapwa, yung pagmamahal ng mga tao sa kanya. Ramdam mo yun, no? Yung kabanalan na you will see him similar na dun sa mga nakikita natin sa photographs, sa mga videos. Malaya yung mga kamay niya, payapa, and kung isipin, yung aura ng isang namatay na hindi iba para sa kanya yung Diyos na nakatagpo niya, no, sa oras ng kamatayan, nakatagpo niya ng harap-harapan. So
Did you
so
get to
yun,
see the face of the Pope?
yeah.
Did you get to see the
Yes,
face
yes.
of the Pope?
Yes, oh, kasi may line, no? May line na which is ganun din naman yung mangyayari sa St. Peter's, no? May line niya na makikita natin ang harap-harapan yung casket ng Holy Father. So yun, the way I describe it na mapayapa, malaya yung mga kamay, hindi stiff, no, yung yung kamay niya, pero ganun lang, kitang-kita mo na maayos, no, yung kalagayan niya.
Okay, you got to pray inside for about 25 minutes. Is that correct?
Yeah, may nagkaroon ng chance, no, kasi the chapel may mga upuan, may mga luhuran, no? So people are praying. Well, some people who were there, especially the religious, may iba na talagang dumaan lang to pray in front of the body. Pero meron din mga iba na nagdarasal ng rosary, praying their office, no? And iba tahimik lang na nakatingin, silently siguro contemplating and praying for the Pope and also praying for the church.
Sino-sino yung mga nakapasok kasama mo doon? Kasi ito, magsisimula pa lang yung public viewing, ano? Pero may mga inuna bang batches katulad mo?
Siguro yung mga pasok din yung mga Vatican na employees, no, yung mga religious, ilang mga religious sisters, mga priests, then syempre yung mga bishops and mga cardinals na nandito sa Rome, no, na they want to see the Holy Father.
Pero bukod doon, no, parang nakwento mo rin sa akin na merong parang diaryong ipinapamigay. What is that all about? Could you show us the piece of newspaper?
Yes, here. Actually, nakuha ko to parang kahapon, no, yung first day itong sa L'Osservatore Romano, no. So it nakalagay dito extraordinary edition, lunedì, 21 Aprile, no? So dun sa front cover nakalagay, Il Signore ha chiamato a sé il Santo Padre Francesco. So the Lord called to himself, Holy Father, Pope Francis. So yan. Ano lang to, pinapamigay sa square, no?
And that is the
In a
official
limited
announcement.
copy.
You're lucky
Sa
to get a
likod yung
copy
magandang picture, yeah.
of that. Let's go to Father Earl Valdez. What should we expect for today? Because his body is going to be carried from Casa Santa Marta. Saan siya exactly kaya ilalagay? Sa loob ba ng simbahan? Sa St. Peter's Square ba? And what are you hearing of how people are going to be able to see the Pope?
So based on the press releases, Gretchen, of the Vatican media today, so we have been closely monitoring that since the announcement of the death of Pope Francis, because this has no precedent, no? This is a revision that Pope Francis himself has initiated and has approved. So this will be the first time na it will be an open coffin. So we are not sure whether it will be like or as it was during the time of Benedict or John Paul II. But if we base it on how it will look like or how it looked like in the chapel in Santa Marta, it is probably going to be inside the basilica. So ang mangyayari niyan ay maiiba yung logistical matters, yung logistical procedures for tomorrow at actually it's today, no? At 9 a.m., no? At 9 a.m. So hindi pa natin alam kung ano ba talaga yung magiging setup niya. But it's most likely going to be inside, no? Especially with how the Pope wanted wanted himself to be buried.
Okay. Are there going to be hourly masses inside the cathedral? Meron na bang announcements on that end?
Nothing yet, because as of now, what has been announced will be masses after the funeral, which will start on from the funeral mass itself on Saturday, will be followed by a mass on Sunday. But as of now, wala, except for some schedules on the praying of the rosary during evening.
Okay, you sent an article over at the Vati Bits group chat. You saying that there are procedures that will be taken during the interregnum. What is the interregnum, and what are those procedures as of what you know?
So basically, the interregnum is the time in which the seat of Saint Peter is empty, no? Wala po tayong Santo Papa, Gretchen, ano? So, ang mangyayari niyan would be to lead us to in a way to a process in which of course it will take its course of time, starting from the days of mourning, which will start in fact on Saturday, and it will be followed by the next 9 days will be followed by masses for the Holy Father, and then after that will be, nagsimula na nga yung isang proseso kaninang umaga o kahapon ng umaga with the first congregation of cardinals that are working here in Vatican. No? So after that will be followed after the funeral, and then the Novendiales will be the conclave. No? The conclave proper will follow, which will happen around 15 to 20 days, no? After the funeral.
So it is not after the death of a pope. Am I getting that right? Yung pagkakalatag nung timeline na yan, the 9 days of mourning will begin on Saturday pa. It hasn't begun.
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
No,
so
contrary to how we picked it up noong una, no, as the Vatican medias announced during the funeral, that is the first day of the Novendiales.
And then the 15 to 20 days of preparation before the conclave, does it start also on Saturday?
That is not clear actually, no, kasi historically it varies, no. There is no set day, but it will depend on the preparations, no. We expect our Filipino cardinals to be here by Friday, Cardinal Joe Advincula of Manila and Cardinal Abu David of Caloocan, together with Cardinal Chito Tagle, who is already here as the Pro-Prefect. So, hindi pa natin alam kung paano sila, how will they reach, well, in layman's terms, no, how will they reach quorum, how will they organize themselves, that will be up for discussion yet, no? So, we will have to wait for the consecutive congregations of cardinals, no? Sabi ko nga kanina, the first has been convened already Tuesday morning. In 3 days, another congregation will be held. So actually, and if we are going to look at the progression of events, it seems naman that everybody still focused on mourning and the funeral, which is, I think, very proper.
But right, yes. Which is why I moved this question to the latter part of our interview. You already mentioned Cardinal Tagle, and we had a report saying that he is among the top candidates for the next pope. Is that already being talked about? I mean, in inner circles, or do you echo the sentiment of Father Jerome Siciliano saying the more na binibida si Cardinal Tagle, baka mag-boomerang ito? How are you taking it there in the Filipino community in the Vatican, and how should we take it? Let's start with Father Earl. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Una sa lahat, ako if you would ask me, that is I think Filipino pride speaking, because never has somebody on that prominent position na kilala pa, so parang may logical parang may pagtutugma na maaring siya, at malaki ang chance na siya. But if you look at it, if you look at the process, if we look at the circumstances, sabi nga ni Bishop Ambo, Cardinal David, lumilitaw kasi he holds an office in which he has the most exposure. So, but at the end of the day, it is every man for himself. So in a way, parang may partly true din yung sinasabi ni Father Jerome Siciliano na siguro hindi naman siguro yung parang pag inaasahan mo, yun yung hindi pa, it's, let's say that every person has an equal chance of being one. But at the end of the day, hindi naman yan, even if it is dictated by majority numbers, you need 2/3 of a vote for somebody to be named Pope. It happens in a context of prayer. It happens in a context of the conclave being a spiritual retreat. And for the cardinals among themselves, kasi yung mga obispo naman talaga yung namumuno sa simbahan, at pipili lang tayo ng primus inter pares. Sino yung magiging representative nila, na isang tao na mamumuno, So kung sino man iyon ay dala ng kanilang pagdedesisyon sa panalangin, dala ng Espiritu Santo. But then again, over and above it, sana po lahat tayo ay pagdaanan yung proseso na ngayon ay nasa punto muna tayo ng pag-alala, ng pagsariwa, ng mga alaala na iniwan at mga bagay na ipapasa sa atin ng Santo Papa.
How about you, Father Earl Tan? What is your take on Cardinal?
Yeah. So, nasabi na maganda ni Father Earl, yung tukayo ko, yung wala na akong madadagdag, but it's really the work of the Holy Spirit. So, at the same time, while praying for the Pope, and maganda yung sinabi ni Father Earl na it's not the time to think of the next successor. We're still mourning. We'll mourn for 9 more days. It's also the time to pray for the church. And nothing to worry. Nothing to worry. Kasi alam natin, ang i-highlight yan sa iba't ibang platforms. Who will be the next Pope? Who will be this? Nothing to worry. Kahit kami, kampante kami because this is Christ's church. So, ang Diyos ang bahala sa kanyang simbahan.
Okay, the Pope came out with 4 encyclicals during his time. That is the Lumen Fidei, the Light of Faith, or the Joy of the Gospel. Meron ding Laudato Si on Care for Our Common Homes, talking about climate change and the environment. Fratelli Tutti on fraternity and social friendship. He spoke about global conflict, global indifference, and Dilexit Nos, He Loved Us. I want to know, what is your favorite amongst the teachings of Pope Francis? What would you leave us with to ponder on as we try to reflect on his life and his legacy? Let's begin with Father Earl Valdez.
Ang hirap pumili, Kasi parang if we look at all of these are just aspects of, I think, one thing that characterizes the papacy of Pope Francis. I wouldn't choose one over the other, even if syempre meron tayong mga political and moral preferences kung ano dapat yung mauna, ano yung pinakamahalaga. Pero sa tingin ko, these are all just sides of one polygon, to speak of. And that is bringing the presence of Christ to people, no? At ito naman talaga yung nasa puso ng ating pananampalataya. And this is what spurs us to face these issues. And this is the perspective from which we discern these issues. So whatever complications come up when we do it, whatever processes would be reformed or even formed, it's always in the perspective of faith. What is it that we are called to do in this situation, bringing with us first and foremost the presence of Christ, and also guided by the gospel, guided by a tradition that for many years have already been built upon, constantly reformed, no? And we continue to look forward by looking back at that as reference, no? At ito naman yung isang magandang yaman ng ating simbahan, no? Dala natin ang mga aral ng panahon, pagkakataon at kasaysayan, no? It's time and history.
A church closer to the people, more open, less of the pomp and pageantry, and more of service to the people. How about you, Father Earl Tan?
Yeah, so what's an encyclical? It's a way for the church to express its teachings, no? So katulad nung sinabi ni Father Earl, no, lahat yan maganda, no? Pero siguro kung titingnan natin, maganda i-highlight ko siguro yung pinakahuli, yung Dilexit Nos, no? Nakakatuwa kasi lumabas yung pagiging Jesuita niya dito, no? Para sa mga Jesuita ay napaka yung devotion nila, no, sa Sacred Heart, no. So he loved us in order for us to realize that nothing can ever separate us from his love. His open heart has gone before us and waits for us unconditionally, asking only to offer us his love and friendship. At the end of the day, sa mga tinuro ni Pope Francis, it brings us closer to Jesus, no? To his teachings, to his life, to his mission here on earth. At yun naman yung role, no? Maitawid tayo patungo sa Diyos. At yun, salamat kay Pope Francis.
Beautiful teachings there. Thank you so much for helping us. A lot to reflect on in the coming days as the 9 days of mourning begins this Saturday. Maraming salamat to our two Earls, our Earl Square. Kailangan ba Earl pangalan, no, para maging pare o maging mabait? Joke lang. Maraming salamat for joining us.
Baka contrary yun.
Makakatulog na kayo.
Halata naman.
Thank you for being with us and helping us reflect early this morning here in the Philippines. Once again, we have Father Earl Valdez and Father Earl Tan joining us on Morning Matters today from Colegio Filipino.
Maraming salamat, Gretchen.
Thank you.
Let's move on over to politics. Vice President Sara Duterte revealed that her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, asked for help to campaign for the senatorial slate of the PDP. Here's the report.
Vice President Sara Duterte visited former President Rodrigo Duterte's hometown in Danao, Cebu on Tuesday. Her visit aimed to locate the resting place of her father's grandfather. After the search, she attended mass and took selfies with vendors and shoppers at the Danao Public Market. She also expressed her gratitude for the high trust rating she has received despite the issues surrounding her.
Well, nagulat ako nung nakita ko yung numbers ng pagtitiwala ng mga tao sa akin dahil sa sobrang dami ng lumabas ng paninira kung saan man, galing sa mga politiko, galing sa social media, lahat, all sides, merong paninira. Nakakagulat na tumataas yung numbers.
In addition, Vice President Sara addressed her recent endorsement of re-electionist Senator Amy Marcos and Representative Camille Villar. While she had previously stated that she would not endorse any candidates for the 2025 midterm elections, she explained that her stance changed after her father's arrest.
Kasi ang nag-trigger ng paglabas ko ay yung ginawa nila kay Pangulong Duterte. Nagkausap kami doon sa Hague at sabi niya, wala na ako, so pwede bang tulungan mo yung mga senators? So sabi ko, oo.
However, she clarified that her decision to endorse the two candidates was a personal choice and did not have her father's blessing.
Si Senator Amy Marcos, kilala niya ako, magkakilala kami. Si Camille naman ay matagal ko na rin siyang kilala.
When asked about if her endorsement had any connection to her impending impeachment trial, Vice President Sara expressed confidence that she would be acquitted. Aside from Cebu, the Vice President also visited Samar and Leyte. She is now planning a tour of Negros to personally thank her supporters.
Stay tuned. Morning Matters will be back right after a short break. I'm Gretchen Ho, and this is Morning Matters. Malacanang reiterated its call for former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque to return to the Philippines. In a briefing, Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Attorney Claire Castro urged Roque to go home, calling him a fake news peddler. This came after Roque referred to President Marcos as bangag and questioned Senator Amy Marcos about her brother's possible use of illegal drugs. In response, Roque slammed Castro for acting like a vlogger and criticized the administration for neglecting pressing issues such as rising poverty and hunger. He also pointed out the administration's declining approval ratings and urged the palace to focus on providing real solutions to the country's problems. A Filipino-Dutch activist slams former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque for his lifestyle in the Netherlands. Joel Vega posted photos on Facebook of Roque supposedly sightseeing and taking strolls in Ter Apel. He pointed out the stark contrast between Roque's life and the struggle of at least 127 farmers allegedly displaced by a Pogo-linked land deal involving the former official. He also claimed that Roque is receiving a €600 monthly allowance as an asylum seeker, while farmers in Bataan allegedly face eviction. To talk about this issue, we have Filipino-Dutch activist Joel De Vega via Zoom. Welcome to Morning Matters. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Gretchen, for having me.
Okay, Sir Joel, before we begin talking about the issues before us, I wanted to get more clarity on your relationship with the former spokesperson. Paano niyo po nakilala ito si Harry Roque, and when did you start speaking out on these issues?
Well, I don't know him personally, so I hadn't met him personally. But I follow the news in the Philippines closely through social media, mainly through Facebook. And with my deep interest in current events here, I learned about his arrival here in the Netherlands and his announcement that he asked for asylum in the Netherlands. And when I heard that, I think that was mid or second week of March, I was a bit surprised because something is off, and I realized that someone has to speak out about it. And I decided to write a petition to the Dutch IND, the Immigration Office, on March 21. And also posted a summary or a similar text in Facebook. Also wrote a letter to the local newspaper called the Volkskrant, and also mailed the petition by mail, traditional mail. And that was last March 21.
And you also started the signature campaign, which collected, I think, 21,000 signatures against the asylum application of the former presidential spokesperson. I want to unpack these issues. The first being your post on Facebook on the land grabbing. Can you tell us more about that? How did you get to know about that? That is actually new information for us here. At ano po yung sinasabi nung impormasyon na yun?
Well, first, the petition has now gathered around almost 28,000 as of today. About the land grabbing case, so I opened the petition last March 21, and a few weeks passed, I think that was the last week of March, when I received some information from a farmers group in Mariveles, Bataan. So they started sending me documents and photographs asking for my help. And I read the documents, I read the photo, I look at the photographs, examine their statements, and I realized that there is a story in that because I hadn't seen it in the internet or I hadn't read about it in previous months or in previous years. And I chatted with one of them, and it turned out that they claimed that they didn't get any support or help from authorities, and they were also largely ignored by the local media. So they asked for my help. And with that, I told them, okay, I will read through your papers and documents and make my assessment. And the documents look very convincing. They were copies of the charge sheet that they filed in January 2023, at the Ombudsman. And in the charge sheet, they alleged through their lawyers that Roque created a company called Biancam Holdings Corporation, which is a 50-50 partnership between Green Miles Realty and another company called uh, uh, First Bataan Maribelis Holding Corporation. So these three companies are involved in a 1.8 billion project linked to a township or a POGO hub in Maribeles, Bataan. So with that information, I went through it and I checked with some of my friends back here in the Philippines. And with that information, I decided to help the farmers and post a summary of their complaints in Facebook on April 13. So, almost more than 3 weeks after I posted the petition. And yes, the post last April 13 exploded again. I think it attracted almost 1,000 engagement and more than I think 1,000 uh, Facebook users shared it. So I was surprised that this news hasn't been well shown or broadcasted or wrote about in the Philippine media. So this is one of the reasons why I decided to help them to uh, get some more attention and to get attention from the press, from the local press here.
It seems to be a grave misconduct suit filed by 77 farmers before the ombudsman. As said in your post, other related charges include forgery, serious dishonesty, and falsification of public documents. But sir, I can't help but wonder also, did you at any point wonder about the authenticity of these documents? Nakita ko po, nag-post po kayo ng ilang photos, no? Medyo malabo po yung litratong nakita ko. At pati yung papers parang sa harapan, hindi ko rin nakita yung pangalan ni Attorney Harry Roque. Meron po ba kayong pag-iimbestiga na ginawa when it comes to that? Because uso rin po ngayon yung maraming fake news, no? Maraming mga edited photos, ganun.
Yes, right. Actually, the names of Harry Roque was on the first page of the charge sheet.
Okay.
Yes, it's indeed a bit not clear because the farmers, they sent it through messenger. No, I didn't have any doubts about the authenticity because there were also other events linked to their complaints that were reported in the media. They were in fact very afraid, or they were intimidated because there were threats to their life. They were harassed by certain groups of people, asking them to leave the property that they used to occupy. So with that in mind, I decided to help them. And also I asked, I made a statement in my post for Harry Roque himself to respond, because I would be willing to to report on his response. And even the farmers are also very much interested to know his response. But the thing is, Gretchen, there is no response from Harry Roque since April 13. So if he would come out and direct message me and say, Joel, this is the real deal, then I would be willing to put that, to post it in Facebook, side by side with the claims of the farmers. But the thing is, I haven't heard anything from him. And
Just
that
completing.
to me is a very, strange or odd way of, dealing with farmers because, as you know, he's running in a party list in the election campaign. And in his election campaigns, his slogan is to help farmers. And here are 127 farmers, and 77 of them dared to file charges. And yet they haven't received any reaction, a single reaction from him since 2023.
And just completing that story for our audiences who don't know much about this, no? The First Bataan Mariveles Holding Corp, Green Mouse Realty, and Biancham Holdings Corporation is an investment group that allegedly built or was built for a township meant for a Pogo Hub project to be established in the land that was supposed to be for the farmers in Bataan. But it's so ironic. Seeing the photos of former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque enjoying the tulips of the Netherlands. Tell us all about the lifestyle of an asylum seeker. Ganyan po ba talaga? Kasi you also it seems a call for alarm, to be a call for alarm.
Well, I wouldn't actually pick on his lifestyle because, of course, everyone has the privilege to enjoy nature, to go around, etc. But I find it a bit, like an insult, or I am very uncomfortable with the fact that here is a man, very influential, a lawyer, and asking for asylum from the Netherlands, and going around and showing his lifestyle. And on the other hand, here is a group of farmers who have complaints against him, and yet he hasn't been responding to their complaints. The farmers told me that they only want to know what is the real deal because they are waiting for the case to move in the ombudsman where they filed the case. But the thing is, it's not been moving since 2023 for some reasons. I don't know the reasons why it's not moving, but already they help. They are following it up with their lawyers, attorney Danny Villanueva. But up to now, there is still no resolution from the ombudsman whether to upgrade the case of the Sandigan Bayan. So I think that's the problem here. If Harry Roque would come out and come clean with what is the real score behind this company that is linked to a Pogo Hub in Bataan, then all of us here would have an explanation, and nobody would be questioning his, going around and enjoying the tulips in the Netherlands because that is his privilege. The thing is, it has become very ironic that he has this lifestyle, while at the same time you have these farmers who are facing ejection from a beachfront property that they are now occupying because they were asked to leave their original homes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but an official asylum seeker gets weekly allowances for basic needs, access to healthcare and education for their children, and the right to work. They're also entitled to free legal assistance during the asylum procedure. Am I getting that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Because Harry Roque is in a stage where he is asking for asylum, and these asylum seekers are given benefits like a weekly food allowance, a weekly living allowance, and also accommodation. But if you have friends in the Netherlands who can accommodate you, then you're not obliged to stay in in the so-called camps, asylum camps.
I'm getting information though that his visa is only going to last for months. What happens then if his visa expires?
Well, he asked for asylum, so his visa is no longer active. Because once you ask for asylum, you are given protection actually until your asylum is accepted. Then you are under the protection of the asylum center. So
Joel, how
until
difficult
then,
is it or easy to get an asylum in the Netherlands? There has been a change in administration there in the Netherlands. How long are the lines for asylum seekers?
it's not easy. It's very difficult because especially now that since last year we have a right-wing coalition in the parliament, and they've been asking and proposing stricter rules. So even without that, since the last decade, the Netherlands has been slowing down on the entry of migrants because of public sentiment pressure. So even without the right-wing campaign, getting asylum here in the Netherlands is not easy. So before it used to be 6 months to wait, and now it has been around 9 months, and maybe a bit more, maybe a year, because some would be extended because there is a backlog in the Netherlands. So a lot of people are in the queue waiting for their asylum approvals. So yes, it's not difficult to get one.
Well, it will be challenging, especially with the petition with 28,000 signatures to date. Maraming salamat. Thank you so much for shedding light on those issues for us. We hope to be able to dig deeper into those. Maraming salamat, Filipino-Dutch activist Joel Vega, lending a voice to the farmers of Mariveles, Bataan. And before we go,
Thank you.
Alex Ayala defeated Bulgaria's Victoria Tomova 6-3, 6-2 in the opening round of the Madrid Open. After falling behind 1-2 in the first set, Ayala bounced back strongly to dominate the match. Ayala, a wildcard entry, will now face world number 2 Iga Swiatek in the next round. Swiatek was one of Ayala's opponents during her strong run in the 2025 Miami Open. And that is it for today's episode of Morning Matters. My name is Gretchen Ho. We are One News, all sides, all the time.